On May 7th, 2025, millions of Canadians will hear a loud, unmistakable tone blare from their phones, TVs, and radios. But this isn't a real emergency. It's a nationwide test of Canada's Alert Ready system. You know the one, right? That sound that makes you jump a mile, even when you're expecting it. For some, it'll be a momentary blip in their day. A quick glance at the TV, a silent nod of acknowledgement, and then back to whatever they were doing. For others, it's a jarring reminder that the world is unpredictable. A little nod of anxiety that whispers, "What if?" Let's be honest. How many of us actually pause during these tests to ask, what if this were real? Do we know what to do? More importantly, do we feel prepared? Because today, we're diving deep into the world of emergency preparedness. We're talking about the stuff they don't always teach you in school, the stuff that could make all the difference when it matters most. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the Alert Ready system itself. It's an amazing tool. Don't get me wrong. It's designed to get the word out fast about everything from tornadoes to Amber Alerts. But here's the catch. It's not foolproof. Think of it like your phone's battery life. It says 100%, but we all know that's not always the whole story, right? You see, Alert Ready relies on cell towers, broadcasters, and those little emergency alert boxes on your TV. But what happens if there's a power outage or a network issue? Suddenly, that 100% coverage starts to look a little different. That's why redundancy is key. Don't just rely on one source of information. Think about it. What if you couldn't rely on your phone during an emergency? What's your backup plan? A weather radio? A hand crank radio? These might seem like relics from the past, but trust me, they can be lifesavers when technology fails. And remember, information is power. During an emergency, every second counts. Having multiple ways to receive alerts could give you those precious extra minutes to make informed decisions for you and your loved ones. So yeah, the Alert Ready system is great. It's a vital tool in our emergency preparedness arsenal. But let's not kid ourselves, it's not a magic bullet. We need to be prepared even when the system isn't perfect. Because when it comes to emergencies, redundancy isn't just a good idea, it's essential. Alright, so we've talked about the limitations of alerts. Now let's talk about what happens the alert when the adrenaline's pumping and you need to act fast. This is where practice comes in. Remember fire drills back in school? Annoying, right? But they served a purpose. They drilled those escape routes into our brains so that if the alarm ever sounded for real, we'd know exactly what to do. The same principle applies to any emergency. Family drills might seem a little over the top, but they could be the difference between chaos and a calm, coordinated response. Think of it like a family game night, only with slightly higher stakes. Sit down with your loved ones and talk through different scenarios. What's the plan if there's a fire? A tornado warning? An evacuation order? Where's your meeting spot? Who's responsible for what? Having a clear chain of command can prevent confusion and panic when seconds matter. And don't forget about your pets. Make sure they're microchipped. Their collars have up-to-date information, and you have a plan for their safety too. Because let's be honest, in a stressful situation, our furry friends are just as likely to be confused and scared as we are. Look, I get it. Nobody wants to think about worst-case scenarios. But the more we practice, the more those responses become second nature. It's like learning to ride a bike. It might feel awkward at first, but eventually it just clicks. And that feeling of preparedness, that's what gives you the confidence to face the unexpected, no matter what life throws your way. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the mental and emotional roller coaster that comes with emergency alerts. That heart-stopping moment when the alarm blares and your brain screams, "Danger!" It's a primal instinct, hardwired into our DNA. But here's the thing, panic doesn't help anyone. In fact, it can make a bad situation even worse. So, how do we stay calm when our inner alarm bells are going off? Awareness is key. Understand that the initial shock is natural, but it's what you do next that matters. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you've got this. You've prepared for this. Remember those family drills we talked about? This is where they pay off. When you've practiced your response, your brain can shift from panic mode to action mode. It's like muscle memory for your mind. And here's a little secret. Helping others can actually help you stay calm. If you see someone who's panicking, offer a reassuring word or a helping hand. It might sound counterintuitive, but focusing on someone else can take your mind off your own anxieties and create a sense of purpose. Remember, staying calm isn't about being fearless. It's about being in control of your reactions. It's about making rational decisions, even when your heart is racing. And trust me, that kind of resilience, that's a superpower we can all tap into. Chapter 4. Community Coordination, the missing link. We often think of emergencies as individual events, something we face alone or with our immediate families. But here's the truth. True resilience is a team effort. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together, that our neighbors, our communities, are our strongest assets in times of crisis. Think about it. Who's going to be there to lend a hand if your street is blocked by a fallen tree? Who's going to check on your elderly neighbor during a power outage? The answer, more often than not, is your community. Get to know your neighbors, especially those who might need extra support during an emergency. Attend community meetings, volunteer with local organizations, or even just organize a block party. Building these connections before disaster strikes can make a world of difference when it matters most. Remember, community coordination isn't just about sharing resources. It's about sharing knowledge and skills. Do you have medical training, mechanical skills? Are you a whiz with a radio? These are invaluable assets during an emergency. Let your community know what you bring to the table. And don't underestimate the power of a simple check-in. A quick phone call, a text message, or even a knock on the door can make a world of difference for someone who's feeling isolated or overwhelmed. Because in the end, resilience isn't just about personal preparedness. It's about social preparedness. It's about recognizing that we're stronger together, that by supporting each other, we can weather any storm. Chapter 5. Natural disasters beyond the basics. Okay, let's get specific. Canada, as we all know, is a land of diverse, and sometimes, let's face it, dramatic weather. From coast to coast to coast, we face a unique set of challenges. So let's break down some region-specific tips to make sure you're prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. Out west, wildfires are a growing concern. Create a defensible space around your home by clearing brush and debris. Have an evacuation plan and practice it regularly, and invest in N95 masks to protect yourself from smoke inhalation. In flood-prone areas, be aware of your home's elevation and flood risk. Have sandbags on hand and know how to use them. Keep important documents and valuables stored in waterproof containers. And remember, never attempt to drive through floodwaters. It's just not worth the risk. For our friends in Tornado Alley, make sure you have a designated storm shelter or a safe room in your home. Practice your tornado drills regularly, and during a warning, remember the golden rule. Get low, stay low, and protect your head. No matter where you live, it's crucial to stay informed. Know the risks specific to your region. Sign up for local emergency alerts, and have a plan in place. Because when it comes to natural disasters, knowledge is power, and preparation is key. Chapter 6. Human-made threats. The unthinkable. Alright, this next part is tough to talk about, but it's essential. We've already touched on natural disasters, but what about human-made threats? The situations we hope we'll never face, but need to be prepared for nonetheless. Let's start with Amber Alerts. These are terrifying situations, but knowing what to do can make a difference. Pay close attention to the alert details, the child's description, the suspect's information, the vehicle involved. If you see something, say something. Contact the authorities immediately. Active threat situations are another grim reality. Whether it's a workplace shooting, a public attack, or a hostage situation, having a plan can save lives. Remember the run, hide, fight protocol. Your first priority is always to escape if possible. If you can't run, find a secure place to hide, lock the doors, and silence your phone. As a last resort, be prepared to fight back with whatever you have. These situations are every parent's worst nightmare, but talking to your children about safety is crucial. Teach them what to do if they're ever separated from you, how to call for help, and who they can trust. Look, I know it's heavy stuff, but it's better to be prepared than caught off guard. Because in these unthinkable situations, knowledge is power, and a little bit of preparation can make all the difference. We often think of emergencies as sudden, dramatic events. But what about the threats that creep up on us slowly? The silent killers like pandemics and infrastructure collapse. These situations might not grab headlines like earthquakes or hurricanes, but they can be just as devastating. Remember the C-19 pandemic. It taught us that preparedness isn't just about having a go bag, it's about having a plan for when the world shuts down. Stock up on essential supplies like food, water, and medications. Have a plan for remote work or schooling. And most importantly, stay informed about public health recommendations. Infrastructure collapse is another often overlooked threat. Imagine a major power outage that lasts for days, or a water main break that disrupts service for weeks. These situations might seem unlikely, but they're not impossible. Consider investing in a generator for backup power. Learn how to shut off your water and gas lines in case of an emergency. And have a plan for sanitation if the toilets stop working. Trust me, it's not a conversation you want to be having in the middle of a crisis. These situations might not be as dramatic as a natural disaster, but they can be just as disruptive to our daily lives. By being prepared for the unexpected, we can face these challenges with resilience and emerge stronger on the other side. Okay, let's talk about something we Canadians know all too well: extreme weather. Sure, we love our winters and summers, but they also come with their own set of challenges. And I'm not just talking about remembering to wear a hat. Extreme cold can be deadly. Make sure your home is properly insulated, your furnace is serviced regularly, and you have alternative heating sources in case of power outages. Dress in layers, protect your extremities, and avoid prolonged exposure to the cold. On the flip side, extreme heat can be just as dangerous. Stay hydrated, wear loose-fitting, light-colored clothing, and avoid strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. If you don't have air conditioning, consider spending time in cool public spaces like libraries or shopping malls. And don't forget about your pets. They're just as susceptible to extreme temperatures as we are. Make sure they have access to shade and fresh water during heat waves, and keep them indoors during extreme cold. Look, we live in a country with incredible natural beauty, but that beauty comes with a price. By respecting the power of Mother Nature and preparing for her extremes, we can enjoy all that Canada has to offer safely and comfortably. All right, we've talked a lot about preparation, but what does that actually look like? Enter the 72-hour Kit Your Lifeline for the first 3 days of an emergency. Now, you've probably heard about the basics: water, food, a first aid kit. But let's dive a little deeper, shall we? First, up light. Ditch the flimsy candles and opt for a reliable headlamp. Trust me, you'll want your hands free if you're navigating a dark, unfamiliar environment. And speaking of hands-free, a whistle can be a lifesaver if you need to signal for help. Next, water purification. Bottled water is great, but it's heavy and bulky. Invest in a water filter or purification tablets to ensure you have access to clean drinking water, no matter what. Now, let's talk comfort. Emergencies are stressful enough without feeling miserable. Pack a few comfort items: a deck of cards, a good book, even a small photo album. These little luxuries can make a world of difference for your mental well-being. And don't forget about entertainment for the kids. A few small toys, coloring books, and crayons can go a long way in keeping them occupied and distracted. Remember, your 72-hour kit isn't just about survival. It's about thriving in the face of adversity. It's about having the tools and resources you need to stay safe, comfortable, and sane, no matter what life throws your way. We often think of our homes as our sanctuaries, our safe spaces from the outside world. But in an emergency, that sense of security can be shattered in an instant. That's why it's crucial to think of our homes not just as places to live, but as potential fortresses of resilience. Now, I'm not talking about turning your home into a bunker, unless that's your thing. No judgment here. I'm talking about simple, practical steps to make your home more resilient to whatever comes its way. Start with fire safety. Install smoke detectors on every floor and test them regularly. Have fire extinguishers readily available and know how to use them. And consider investing in fire-resistant materials for vulnerable areas like your roof and siding. Next up, security. Reinforce doors and windows with sturdy locks and consider installing a security system. Trim back bushes and trees that could provide cover for intruders. And be aware of your surroundings, especially at night. And let's not forget about utilities. Know how to shut off your water, gas, and electricity in case of an emergency. This can prevent further damage to your home and keep you and your family safe. Remember, home fortification isn't about living in fear. It's about taking control of your safety and security. It's about creating a space where you and your loved ones can weather any storm, literally and figuratively. Let's return to that alert ready test. When that tone blares, let it be your anthem of empowerment, not anxiety. Let it be a reminder that you're not just a passive recipient of information, but an active participant in your safety and the safety of your loved ones. Because preparedness isn't about stockpiling for the apocalypse. It's about giving your family the gift of resilience, the gift of time. Time to think clearly, time to make informed decisions, time to support your community. Stay safe, stay ready, and remember, the strongest survival tool isn't in your kit, it's in your mind. It's the knowledge you gain, the skills you practice, and the connections you build. And hey, we're here to help you every step of the way. Hit the link below. Subscribe and ring the bell. We're your non-crazy prepper friends. We'll be back pretty soon with more tips and tricks to help you navigate the unexpected. Until then, stay safe out there, Canada.